Hey, we've got a fishing trip coming on.
Hey bro, how's it going?
Morning. Good. Tim.
Hey mate, see ya.
Welcome mate, good to see you. Sam.
Hey bro.
You ready for catching some big fish?
Yeah, let's
Mate,
go.
there's been so many fish out here, eh? Yeah, like in close. So I'm stoked. I think today's the day we'll be taking home a good feed. So what I need you to do though, is we've just had some new lures arrive and my wife will be keen for us to move a few. So let's just go. In fact, they are sitting in the entranceway as we speak. So, as I said, there's a few of them.
Just a few mate, just a few. I think you can have a little bit more.
There you go, help yourself Sam. I think, hang on, let's have a look. So there's two different varieties. These are about to go out in the subscription boxes to everybody this coming week, because they're the perfect lure for these little fish that we're onto today. So come on in and let's open a couple of boxes up and see what we can get. This is the actual stuff ready to send out in the boxes. So that one there is your little mantis shrimp. Here we go. We got those ones. Right, those are the little paddle tails. So they, particularly around the anchovy workups that we've got at the moment, those should be absolute dynamite. Yep, grab a couple of packs of those each, guys, and we'll go out there and get into it.
Yeah. Let's go, boys.
Hi, babe.
See you.
Do you need a lucky head each?
Yeah.
Where's Glowbite? Fishing innovators. Where's the dog? The dog.
Let's go get some fish blood on it.
Yeah, guys, so we've got one more stop. We're just, you might have noticed we haven't actually got a boat on the back. So we're just going to call in here at Fat Cat, and our good friend Blair has a demo boat. They always say that the best boat you can have is your mate's boat. Mighty Marker bait. Here we are. Nice. Coming up thick and fast on the little micros, eh? Yep, that's it. That's it. They popped up under the hull, that's what the problem was. Hey! Sorry Sam, very nice fish. Should be the biggest fish of the day. Oh, look at the size of this! Woohoo! Lead him up, just take your time, It's probably pretty well hooked. Woohoo! Yeah, boy!
Yeah, baby.
Hey, look at that! I think that's a I was proud of my one. Well done, mate. That's good fish. Yeah. Right out of a workup, little anchovy workup. Mighty microbait, eh?
Those mighty ones, they do the job, boys. They do the job.
Oh, nearly. There we go. Okay, open your bail up. Nicely done. Well done. Woohoo!
They like those mighty micros.
Yeah, good stuff. There we are folks, we have basically tried all the colours today. Actually got good fish on all of them. So, but now that we're getting on to afternoon, really bright sunny conditions. Earlier on we were getting them on Coca-Cola, mostly we're using the paddle tails out here. And then got plenty on the blue. But most recently it was that orange one that you just saw Tim land a fish on. It's been the go-to. Okay, so let's take a few minutes to actually see how to rig these lures. So you've got your new paddle tail, your little micro paddles there, and then you've got your mantis shrimp. Very similar on the way we rig them, but the first thing, the real secret, is to make sure that you start by tying a knot that's going to allow your lure to move really, really well. The knot that I really prefer is called the lefty's loop, and it's because it does exactly that. It causes there to be a loop at the end of your line. That means that the lure head is not going to be really restricted in its movement. I thought I'd show you how to tie a lefty's loop for a minute. So let's pretend that my teacup here is a hook, and so we're going to go through the eye of the hook, aka the handle on my cup. A lefty's loop knot starts by making a little loop in the line like so, through the eye of the hook, and then back through that loop. Then you just kind of pull it up to adjust the size of the loop that you're after, like I've done there, and then go back around your main line 3 times. Then you take your tag end and you pass it back through that same loop that you've made. One little thing though is, rather than going through where the 2 lines have made a V, you tuck it through beside. Can you see that it's out on the outside? So I've gone back through now. This is the 3rd time the line's gone through that loop. And when you pull it up nice and tight, it forms a good solid knot, but it's got a loop in it, which is going to allow your lure to move really freely. Cut off your tag end and you're good to go. See if I can still drink my tea. Okay, rigging the lures. Okay, so let's tie that lefty's loop with a jig head using nylon rather than a great big piece of rope. But all the principles are the same. Making our loop. In this case, I've given myself about 10 centimeters of free end on it, through the eye of the hook, and then back through that loop that I've made. Then I'm pulling it up to adjust the size of the loop. I want it to be big enough for the lure to move freely, but not so big that the jig head is going to get caught up in its own loop. Around 3 times, and then back through my loop again, but through the side rather than through the V that was formed, and pull everything up tight. There we go, nice little loop, but plenty of play in it so that the jig head can move really freely. Cut off the tag end, and we're ready to go. I'm going to cut that tag end off a bit closer. Okay, so to rig the mantis shrimp, there's no cut in the belly of this lure. So for some jig heads, you'll come through out that belly, cut and back up. This one doesn't have one of those. So you need to thread the lure onto the hook and just really be thinking about keeping that hook point moving straight through the center of the lure as you're threading it on, because we're wanting that lure to hang really naturally on the hook when we're finished. I tend to like to have the darker side upwards, and so to achieve that, I'm going to almost kind of go in from upside down. So holding the darker side towards my jig head, and then I'm threading that hook point down into the lure and trying to drive the point of the hook straight down the middle of the lure. And you'll notice that as I'm doing that, obviously the lure is curling over, and a good rule of thumb, as soon as you get round the bend of the hook, then it's time to bring the hook point out through the back like that. There's actually an area here on the back of the lure which has got no ribs on it, so I want to come out through that area without the ribs, so it shows that I'm well centered, and then push the lure all the way up onto that jig head. The lugs on these jig heads are really quite pronounced, and I have almost never had a fish actually pull a lure off one of these jig heads because those lugs really hold them well, but sometimes you do have to force it up quite hard to get it in position. So there we go, we're all rigged up, lots of nice movement because we've got a lefty's loop knot going on as well, and we're ready to fish. these lures here, incidentally, the mantis shrimp, that's the colour of the invasive species of mantis shrimp in New Zealand. They're kind of a creamy yellow colour. Admittedly, that one glows in the dark. It's got a bit more UV in it. But that's what I'd be using up in the estuaries. This colour here seems to be working really, really well around structure. That's the one that I caught the winning kahawai on in a 3 species comp the other week. And then this one here is more, the colours are more designed to imitate the crayfish, a little baby cray. And so again, that one's been working really well around the structure as well. And then when it comes to the paddlers, man, there's been a heap of anchovies around home and other small little whitebait lately. And we've just been doing really well on all the colours of those. But they're designed obviously to, that one particularly, to imitate the anchovy. Sometimes anchovies have a bit of brown on their backs as well. So that one's been working really well. And as a lot of people know, there's just something about orange. That lure's been working very well recently and close as well. So again, we want the lure to be presented with the back, the dark side upwards. So we start with it upside down, drive the hook point down into the lure, working around the bend of the hook, and then as soon as we get around the bend, the hook point comes out through that area in the back between the ribs and push it up all the way to the top so that it's gone past the last lug on the jig head, and then just pulling it back to make it nice and straight. We don't want there to be a big bend or a kink in the lure. We want it to kind of present really naturally looking on the jig head and be nice and straight, so it's got lots of wiggle and it just looks like a little fish swimming along saying, eat me, eat me. That's what we're after. Let's go fishing.